Kongthoranee and Nong-O face off for part 2 in their epic rivalry, and the grappling wizard Tye Ruotolo returns for his bout against the highly acclaimed Dante Leon. This is the One Fight Night 31 preview show coming up next on Fighting with Friends. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends, the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. One Fight Night 31 takes place this Saturday, 3 a.m. South African time from the legendary Lipeng Stadium in Bangkok, Thailand. And breaking down the card with me is the reigning, defending, undisputed vegan champion of the world. That is, of course, Brother Gaia.
What's happening? I'm
What's
back.
up, PG? Great to finally have you back for another preview show, bro. It's been
Yeah,
a hot minute, but it's always good to have you on board for some of that expert analysis and not just a lot of fan mumbo jumbo that I see spouting at the people. So I'm sure the people are very glad to have you back, PG. But if you remember,
yeah.
as always, we start.
At the top of the card, bro. Let's go.
Nicely done, yeah. Let's go. At the top of the card, we do see Kongthoranee, the 28-year-old. His record in one is 11-2-0, 3 wins by KO, currently on a 4-fight streak. He did beat his current opponent, or Nong-O, by unanimous decision in the last fight. And Nong-O Hammer, 38 years old, legend in the game, former bantamweight champ, 11-4-0, 4 by KO, 1 by TKO. He is on a 2-fight slide, of course, losing to Kongthoranee in the first encounter between these two, bruh. So, yeah, bruh, epic rematch on the cards here, fitting of a main event. Do you see more of the same for Kongthoranee? I know you believe this man to be a future champion, but
Yeah.
Nyong'o of course, legend in the game. How's it going to play out, BG?
Firstly, I would just want to start by saying it's about time the One Championship is giving Kongthoranee some flowers. If you look at the dude's record and you look at the streak he's been on, right? And the win streak he's been putting together prior to the 2 losses that he has in the One Championship. It's the same numbers like Nong-O, same numbers like Haggerty, Rodtang, Superlek. He's fighting as long as these guys in the One Championship. I've been watching this
Sure.
dude for a while, and I'm like, someone needs to give this guy a chance. It's only now, this literally this last year of 2024 into 2025, he's been fighting in a ranked. He's got the contract, and now he's fighting ranked opponents, and he's literally ranked number 4, number 3, I think, in the division. So this is high implications for the flyweight Muay Thai division, because if any one of these guys win here, Nong-O with his status is guaranteed a title shot because of who he is. But more so for Kongthoranee, at 28 years old, the younger fighter, been on a blistering streak. Look at that. Been on a blistering streak
That's
in the
ridiculous,
one.
bro.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he has to get a title shot. So now I remember watching the interview earlier with Nick Atkin, and he was saying, and he was saying that he's pretty much in the running for a title shot. If he wins, the next best shot for him, the next best fight is against Rodtang for the vacant title. He doesn't see anyone else that he can fight against by the Rodtang next. And I'm like, dude, give him that opportunity. But that being said, he has to beat Nong-O again. And I do believe that it's going to be a different kind of fight, just because if you go and watch that fight back, the first one, Kongthoranee won the first 2 rounds. Okay, I give him that. I was actually quite happy that he did win, because I was wanting him to win. I thought that I'd prefer to see Kongthoranee go for a title than Nong-O, just because Nong-O has done it 8 times. He's 38 years old. We can have him chill. You know what I mean? This is the new breed now. Like, Kongthoranee the chance to go, and he beat you. But in the 3rd round, Nong-O turned on the heat on him and was really starting to take the fight into his favor by using a lot more of the low kicks, so to win the boxing combinations. Right, Kongthoranee did kind of take his foot off the pedal in the 3rd round. He slowed down quite dramatically, and he was looking almost to survive the 3rd round, because he wasn't actually engaging anymore. He was more of just like evading, and countering. Whereas the first 2 rounds, he was actually leading the dance. Um, I'm just worried about that 3rd round. Are we going to see Kongthoranee do the same thing in the first 2 rounds, but maybe try and navigate the 3rd and be safe? Or is Nong-O going to realize that he can take the heat to him and not be so defensive in the first 2 rounds and actually take the heat to Kongthoranee? Because Kongthoranee didn't drop him. Kongthoranee didn't drop Nong-O, or did he get him rocked at all? He was just outclassing him by being more active and utilizing the weapons first. So it's just about the youth that I thought that it's actually what got him over that line in that first fight. But I'm keen to see what Nong-O does next, because he does have a good way to game plan when he comes back for a rematch. But I am still going to go with Kongthoranee in terms of the momentum. He's won the first fight. He's got 3 different boxing coaches now for this camp in this fight. So I think he's going to utilize a little bit more boxing combinations to actually survive the fight because I do think he has the youth and the vibrance and the kicking mobility a little bit better than Nong-O. So and he's taller. So I just think that if he maintains that speed and that pace that he put on in the first 2 rounds into the third round as well, he will cruise through a victory. I just don't see him knocking out Nong-O. Kongthoranee isn't that kind of fighter. He doesn't knock people out. He kind of just tosses you all the time. And he's also very durable, so you don't really knock him out. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. We're kind of going to see more of the same, but I'm expecting Nong-O to come out a little bit hotter in that first few rounds.
Yeah, to your point there, I did see Nongo did say in the media that that was pretty much the game plan. I think, like you said in the last fight, he saw that if he does put his foot on the gas a little bit more, he does get better results when he's coming
Yeah,
up against Kongthoranee. So, yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly what he said he's going to do. He's going to come
I didn't
out
even
and
know
he's
you
going to
said that.
yeah, he's going to come out. He's going to be super aggressive, and yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. But yeah, I think he's obviously got a lot to fight for here. Nongo is not getting
Yeah,
any younger, and I think this will probably
absolutely.
be his final title run. So yeah, but I'm
Yes.
gonna go with Nongo Ahmed to get it done here, bro. I do think Kongthoranee
Woo!
is better, probably better technical fighter and a younger, of course, more exuberant. But yeah, bro,
Yeah.
there's just something that tells me Nongo is gonna make it on the title, bro. He wants that draw tank fight. So yeah, I'm gonna
And
go
I
with
think he
Nongo
can
to
do
get
it.
it done here, bro.
I think
So
he can do it,
yeah,
AD, and especially with that game plan of actually putting on the pace and also put on the pace while protecting yourself because Kongthoranee is a fantastic counter striker. But if you watch the fight between Kongthoranee and Super Leg put on the pace and he attacked first. He made Kongthoranee fight back foot all the time. So he couldn't really do what he wanted to do. And I think that's what you have to do to beat someone like Kongthoranee. You have to make him fight backwards and you have to make him go second. Don't make him punch or kick first because then he's gonna start to pluck away at you and then next thing you know you're
mm,
way behind the scorecard.
yeah, yeah. I definitely agree, bro. You can't let a guy like Kongthoranee get comfortable in there, because then he's just gonna. I mean, the man's world class, bro, and if you let him get comfortable in there, he's gonna show you up every day of the week. So
Yes.
yeah, but I look for Nongo to be a lot more aggressive here, and upset Kongthoranee's rhythm on the night. But yeah, any other thoughts on this one, BG?
I'm just excited. I'm like getting like a very like goosebump watery eye just the thought of thinking about this fight because that's high implications, bro. Like this fight is it's a lot on the line for both these guys, and I'm a big fan of both of their styles, man. So I just think I'm getting very excited to actually watch the two of them go again.
Absolutely, but same. And just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we will be live for that. So please like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends, and be sure to check us out on the live stream. We'll be happy to see you there. Drop
Yep.
us a comment and all those good things. But yeah, we do have another very well known name here.
Yep.
One
Yep.
of the jiu-jitsu royalty, one might say. One might
Yeah.
say not, depending on the circles you move in. But we do have Tye Ruotolo, 22 years old, the welterweight submission champion. He's 7-0, 4 by sub on a 7 fight streak, being 7-0. Of course, he beat Joseph Chen by unanimous decision
Mm.
in his last fight. He's coming up against 29-year-old Dante Leon, who's 2-0, 1 by sub. He beat Tommy
Yeah. Langaka.
Langaker in his last fight by unanimous decision.
Mm.
So look, whenever there's a Rotolo fight for someone who's a bit more of a casual fan,
Yeah.
it does tend to attract a lot more eyeballs to the sport. But yeah,
Yeah.
whenever there is a Rotolo fight, it seems to be like a foregone conclusion. These brothers don't seem to lose. So does Dante Leon have anything for Tye Ruotolo here? Do you think, PG?
I do think it. I think he does, AD. I think he does just because Dante Leon is massive, firstly. Yeah, but I do think that Taito's actually bigger and heavier, which is mad to say because Dante is a big dude. But they fought before. I think the first fight, I'm not sure who won it, but they can correct us in the comments, obviously. But I think Ty did win that first one, but it was a hell of a close battle. And both these guys paid a lot of respect to each other when they had the interviews earlier in the week. And I think both of them were saying it's going to be a very. Who won the first one?
Ruotolo winning by submission, and Dante winning in 2020. So this is actually a trilogy.
Trilogy. See.
Yeah.
So I think they both of them were saying it's going to be a very difficult matchup. I remember Dante was saying that he's really going to try and go in there and get ties back. He sees that that's the best way to win the fight is just to get ties back. But ties like it's one of the most difficult things to do. You don't really ever see Tye giving up his back in any way. You can go watch any of the 7 fights he had in the one championship. You don't really see him on his back or anyone actually get into his back. So I don't know how Dante's going to get that done. And I also think the aggression and the way that the Ruotolo brothers roll, the way they do their jiu-jitsu, it's not traditional. It's very different. It's very strange and it's very difficult to beat. But Dante's got that power, and I think he's a little stronger than Tye. I don't know if he's got the same dexterity as Tye. I doubt he has the same dexterity as Tye, but he's got the power. And I think he can. Yeah, I've beaten him before. I've choked out Tye before. I think that must give him some kind of sort of not advantage, but something to work with. Like there's a way that he can maybe get to a victory. Granted, that was what 6 years ago, 2020.
Yeah, 2020 and 2021 was the rematch.
So Ty was a teenager back then. So that wasn't even he's 22 years old now, and he fought against people like RDR and tapped him out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be a very close fight. I don't see a submission for either guys just because they're both such high level guys. But I do suspect that Ty is probably going to catch more submissions, and for that, he's probably going to win the fight by decision. But I expect an extremely high chess match in this fight, and yeah, it's hard to really say there's gonna be a finish, even though both guys are good finishers. But what happens when
Mm.
you put two good finishers together? Both these guys have fought Tommy. I think Ty fought Tommy twice. So and both of them, I think Ty only tapped him out once, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, when you get to that high level, it's a bit more difficult to tap each other out. So I don't suspect that to happen, but I expect the Daspani kind of fight for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like again, these Ruotolo brothers, they kind of tend to transcend the sport in a little bit like of a way
Yes.
because, yeah, again, like for someone like me who doesn't really follow jiu-jitsu that closely, I know the Ruotolo brothers. So,
Yeah.
and again, whenever I watch them, they don't lose, bro. So, I mean, all
Yeah.
all all signs are pointing to a Ruotolo victory here for me.
Yes.
And yeah, but of course, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments your thoughts on that one. So yeah, two exciting fights that we
Yeah.
have covered so far, bruh, or at the top of the card here. And we'll keep it
Massive
moving
fights.
into
Tyler Tolo's
welterweight.
sorry,
Yeah.
before we go on, I think Tyler Tolo. Just the last thing I wanted to point out, in case you didn't know, or any of the fans didn't know, that one of the reasons why we don't see him fight that frequently, and he's still very young, is because he's actually trying to transition into MMA as well. Like Cade, they're really trying to really harness themselves or hone in on the MMA career, which is why we've seen so little of them defending their jiu-jitsu titles. But I mean, saying
Okay.
that because I just think we all want to see more of it, and that's probably why we're wondering why we don't see so much of these kind of fights. But that's what came out earlier this week.
Fair, fair. Yeah, I mean, either way, bruh. I mean, if it's MMA or if it's jiu-jitsu, yeah, we'd like to see more of them because, yeah, it's like you said, it's not the traditional jiu-jitsu, bruh. A lot of the times it's
No,
very strange, very awkward, super
yes,
creative, and
yeah,
just like these guys are pulling out subs from places where like you're sitting there thinking like, what's going on here? How did he get that? And then next thing you know, the guy's tapping, and it's like, what did he tap
yeah,
for? You know what I mean?
yes.
Sometimes you don't even know what the guy's
You don't
tapping
even
for
see it.
because there's just so much going on, brother, that we don't, that we, or me as like a more casual fan doesn't see.
Yeah,
So it's quite a spectacle, ladies and gentlemen. And if you
yeah,
haven't seen a jiu-jitsu fight yet, or jiu-jitsu bout, this is the Tola brothers are definitely the guys to watch.
yeah.
So yeah, be sure to check that one out.
Thanks.
Okay. Any final thoughts on that, BG?
No, you sold it to us there. Let's get to that fight. We have to
All
must
right.
sleep patiently.
All right, we'll keep it moving to the welterweight division for some MMA here. We have
Mhm,
Sebastian Kadestam, 34 years old,
mhm,
former welterweight champion. Record in one is 7-4-0-5 by KO, 2 by TKO. He's on a 3 fight streak. Last time out, he beats Roberto Soldic by
mhm,
KO. That was back in 2023, however. He's coming up against Isu Fitikefu, who's 32 years old. His record in one is 2-1-0, one by sub on a 2 fight streak. Last time out, beating Horiyuki Tetsuka by unanimous decision. BG, what can you tell us here about these welterweights, bro?
I want to say legends, but yeah, is he Fitikefu? I don't know if he's a legend really, but I mean he's a fun guy to watch. Whereas as Sebastian, he's got that one championship legendary status because he's been the champion. He's fought some of the big guys. Uzbek Ulu, I think his name is. Fought some really good names in the one championship, and also he's a scary dude to take on. Um, and I think this is going to be a throwback fight for both these guys. I think the activity has been more in the favor of Fitikefu, but Sebastian
Mm,
hasn't really been injured or anything. He's saying that he's just been waiting patiently. And I think before I continue about breaking down the fight, fighters like this, like Sebastian, you want to see them more frequently, right? And he was saying in his interview earlier in the week that um, he was wondering, yo, am I gonna be competing at any point? Am I still gonna continue in this career? Because there hasn't been that many frequent calls for him to come and fight. And this is your former champion, and I feel like the one championship should definitely start really clamping down on bringing in a lot more MMA fights and MMA fights that aren't unranked guys. Because we always see two MMA fights in the beginning of our Friday fight card, right? And that's usually fighters that don't have a ranking and they maybe they don't even catch weight or anything, not even in the division, but they maybe just entering the organization. So I just think if they can maybe put those guys into a Grand Prix and then have fighters like Sebastian and those guys who are competing on your big events, have them like I think very frequently going at it because then we can get a lot of movement. These guys stay active, and then also we're gonna bring a lot more eyes to this side of your organization as well, and not just the kickboxing and the Muay Thai. You know what I mean? Because you're
mm,
wasting talent away. These guys are wasting their talent away. This thing gets problem. Anyway, coming to this fight, who I think is gonna win? I'm gonna go with Sebastian. I think he's the killer. I think he's got very good takedown defense. He's got fantastic knockout power, good elbows in the clinch. He's just a dog. He's got that killer instinct in him when he fights. He's just he wants to go in there and hurt you. Fitikefu, powerful, got a lot of power. He's got that Tonga rugby build. Very powerful wrestler as well. Can put you in submissions. But what happens when he can't take you down, right? And his stand-up game is not as elusive as Sebastian's. However, it does take one shot to put him up, but Sebastian's got good durability. He can take a shot, right? And he gets quite amped up when he takes a shot. So I just think that there are a bit more avenues for Sebastian to win. I just think that he can push the pace a little bit more. Um, the biggest threat that he's going to have to worry about is an overhand right and a lot of takedowns, right? That's what's going to have to really avoid in this fight. And if he avoids that, he wins the fight pretty much anywhere. So we could see a stoppage here. Sebastian probably get the stoppage in the first or second round. Um, and then if it doesn't go that way, I think he wins on decision.
mm. Yeah, I mean, fair point about the MMA there. It just it's quite bizarre as to why there aren't more fights. I really have no idea what the reasoning is behind that. Is it just a lack of athletes, or I
That's what I
mean,
wonder, man. I don't think it's a lack of athletes, Aid. I just think the one championship's got such a massive roster of athletes that go
mm,
across the broader MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and so many of them. And what's happening is you're trying to put all these disciplines on a single card, right? So that means it's not easy to accommodate all these fighters. Because then you're probably gonna have to do 2 cards a week to make sure that all these guys get a chance to actually move through their rosters. You know what I mean? Because now you're putting on 12 to 13 fight, 14 fight cards on a Friday, and then of that 14, two of it is MMA. So
mm.
you're not really moving your MMA fighters. You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
it's like then do that, like get more fights going because now we just have like I mean, when was the last time we see like a welterweight MMA fight like once every I wouldn't even say once a month,
Not
bro.
that frequent.
It's like
Yeah,
it's super rare.
you see them fight on fight nights and a pay
Mm,
per view event, and then we see because that's like the moneyed fighters or the MMA guys like your Akbar Abdullayev, Tenkai, the featherweights because they compete the
mm,
most. The featherweights, lightweights, and welterweights compete more than anyone else in terms of the MMA divisions.
mm.
Those are their prize positions. So we only really see them on cards like this, your fight nights, which is a problem because that happens like 1 in 4 cards, 1 in 5 cards we see them fight.
I wonder if it's a demand thing because, of course, Muay Thai is the most popular sport in Thailand. So it
Yeah.
might just be a demand and the kind of playing to the market. But I
Yes.
do think there definitely is a gap there that they could fill, especially considering that a lot of people are getting fed up with the UFC and like the quality of
Yeah.
the product. So I think there's definitely a gap for them to exploit there. But yeah, Charlie, hit me up. Yeah, can help you out there with strategizing. Yeah,
Yes, make us your official MMA fight matchmakers for one championship, dude. We'll have a blast doing that for you. And we put on sick fights.
there we go, bro. Hit us up, Charlie. You got the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. But anyway, bro, we'll keep it moving, and we're gonna go down the card now
Yeah.
to a lightweight Muay Thai bout. This one, You just told me a few minutes ago that unfortunately Nauzet Trujillo is out, and Liam
Yeah,
Nolan does have a new opponent, but that hasn't been announced yet.
yeah.
So unfortunately, not too much we can say here. Do you have any thoughts on this before we move down the card, BG?
Just that this is a make or break for Liam Nolan. He was literally he announced the retirement last after losing against Trujillo, which is crazy because he's only 20 odd years old. What is like 27 or something like that. So I was just thinking like, why would he do that? He's such an amazing talent. But now he's back and he switched camps. He was with Haggerty and now he's in a different camp and he seems to be in a more peaceful state and a more active state. And I think, yeah, I think this fight, if he wins this next opponent, whoever he's going to get, and we could see more of Liam Nolan, which I want to see, dude, because he's a top talent. So yeah, let's see what happens this weekend for him.
Yeah, fair play, fair play. All right, then we'll keep it moving down, and here we go to Zhang Lipeng in a lightweight MMA bout. Zhang
Mhm.
Lipeng's record in one is 4-2-0, one by
Yep.
KO, two by TKO. Got a 75% finish rate, beat Hiroki Tetsuka by TKO in his last fight. He's coming up against Lucas Gabriel, 25 years old. His record in one is 3-0, one by
Mhm.
sub, obviously on a three-fight streak. He beat Gadzi Murad Amirzanov by sub in his last fight. Um, so that was quite a
Lekker.
mouthful for me, BG. I'm going to take a rest now and let you tell people how this one is going to play out.
I love it. I love it. Interesting matchup, dude. I must be honest. I just feel like this is where did it come from. But if we're begging about MMA fighters to be consistent, this is it right here. If you don't know anything about Zhang Lepeng, he's been fighting. I think he fought for the title, or he was about to fight. I'm a contender. He fought against Timofey Nasyukin or something like that. Let me just make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, Timofey Natsukin. There we go. And this was pretty much like a battle for contendership to fight. What's his name? Christian Lee, right? And I don't think he got that fight. But he's been fighting against top guys. You can see those names on the list. He's been in there. There's Ruslan Emilbek Ulu. That's the name I was talking about. That's the dog. You're fighting against him. You're fighting against top. You're fighting against one championships royalty. So that just tells you that what kind of resume Zhang Lepeng's bringing forward here. And he's the bigger guy in this fight as well. He's coming out from a heavier weight coming down, so he's the bigger athlete here. Got good boxing, good takedown defense. Not really gonna wrestle with you. He wants to knock you out. He's gonna box with you most of the time. Whereas Lucas Gabriel is a jiu-jitsu specialist. He can strike. It's a bit shorter on this. I think in this fight he's gonna be significantly shorter. But he's not. That doesn't discourage the way he fights. He's got a really good chin, keeps his hands up quite high, moves around quite a bit. And once he gets you down, the dude's jiu-jitsu is on top level. I mean, he's from Brazil, and that tells a lot about his style. So I just think that Lucas is going to have to get the fight to the ground if he's going to give himself a chance to win, right? But if he doesn't do that, I expect Zhang to go in there and smash him, like knock him out. So I'm gonna go with my man Zhang Lepang to just run back the clock here and get another finish with so he can give himself back to back finishes and put himself in that list to fight some top fighters. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Christian Lee is there, so let's get this division going.
Yeah, well said there, BG. Well said. Not too much I can say here. So yeah, do you have any final thoughts?
Um, in my heart, I want Lucas Gabriel to win. I think he's a fun character. I really do. He's a fun character to watch, entertaining guy. I just legit like logically, my mind's telling me that Zhang's gonna go in there and piece him up.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any thoughts on that one, let us know in the comments section. And of course, like and subscribe to Fight with Friends. We'll keep it moving now to some bantamweight Muay Thai. And here we have
Mm,
Saemapetch, who's 30 years old. His record in one championship, 9-7-0.
mhm.
Three by KO, one by TKO. He's on a two-fight slide. Last time out, losing to the acclaimed Felipe Lopo by TKO. He's coming up against Abdullah Dayakaev, who is 23 years old, 6-1-0, four wins by KO. He's a 67% finish rate. Two-fight streak last time out, beating Alessio Malatesta by KO. So can we expect some fireworks here, BG?
trillion% 80. This is gonna be most likely one of the fights of the night for me. In fact, the fights from here going down the card, so that will be the first three fights of the card if you're gonna watch it live. Almost likely gonna be the most exciting fights to watch. Even though we got Kongthoranee and Nong-O in the main event, but I'm telling you, these three fights that's gonna we're gonna preview next is gonna have my picks for fireworks. Saemapetch, dude, I'm gutted about this guy. He was one of the guys I watched first in the one championship, and when he took that loss to Tawan Chai, he just went on a downward spiral. He was had difficulty coming back, getting back to his winning ways. Okay, he took on good names. There was Nico Carrillo, there's Felipe Lobo. He's fought some top dudes. Look there's Muhammad Yunus. He's took on some really good names. You know what I mean? And those are top ranked opponents in the division. So I can see why he lost. But I was like, you see, there when he lost to Tawan Chai. I think a lot of things changed for him, and he's a really top athlete. Good elbows, good left hand, really good left hand. His 1-2 combination is fantastic. But Abdullah Dayakaev is a talent. He's a top talent. I think he only has one win, but a lot of his fights ended in finishes. Fights at both stances. Got really good boxing. He's very creative. But he can be pushed back. Right? He can get discouraged. And I think Saemapetch going to have to be very poised here and not rush a lot because Abdullah is just he can spin on you in any moment. And next thing you know, you're laying flat on the ground, and you don't want to get caught something flashy. And that's what happened with these young dudes coming into one championship right now. Is that they are super flashy. They throw all sorts of stuff at you. You don't know where it's coming from, and you see these guys like Saemapetch who's hitting like the sort of the prime or almost prime to the other side of the mountain of their career. We see them we see them taking photos against these young guys. We see them getting confused when they're fighting against these younger athletes. So I think this is going to be a blistering pace from Abdullah in the beginning, and probably look to get the finish. Because if you look at Saemapetch's finish with his losses in the one championship, is when it was when guys just like blitz him and they close him down very quickly, like Nico Carrillo, Lobo, Tawancha. They just close him extremely quickly and they give him no space to fight. And that's and also when they attack his body, then they drop him quite frequently. So I think there's a lot of tape where you can watch how to beat Saemapetch, and I think that's where I'm going to go with Abdullah to win the fight. Because I think there's a lot more tape for him to go on to watch how to beat him. Where there's not that much tape to watch on Abdullah and how to beat him because he hasn't really lose. He doesn't really lose.
Yeah.
He only wins, brother. So it's like, how do you beat this kid? So I'm going to go with
Yeah.
Abdullah Kayev to win the fight, just by showing us another illustrious and just a massive performance. And you can watch a fight against Eliseo Malatesta, who's the boy he beat last. That's also a highly considered rising star. That was the boy I was trying to talk about last night. The Italian kid. He's the boy, and Abdallah just smoked him like he was nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Abdallah to win the fight here, and it's gonna catapult him in this division for sure.
Very nicely done there, BG. And yeah, just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that like BG says, some absolute fire on the opening of this card. So be sure to tune in early. We'll be there to cover it all for you, and be sure to check us out on the live stream. But we'll keep moving then, BG. We're gonna go down
Yep.
now to Sean Climaco. He's
Ooh.
30 years old. Record in one is 1-2-0. Won by KO, beat Diego Paez by split decision in his last fight. He's coming up against the young man in Akiv Guluzada, who is
Mhm.
3-0. He's on a 3-fight streak in one championship. Last time out, beating my man Peng Luang by KO. I remember seeing that one, bruh. This man is
Yo,
quite spectacular. So I'm very excited for this one, I must say. Akif Gulasada is definitely going places. So
yo.
BG is my man getting the W, or what do you think? Sean Macau gonna
I want to say
show him?
yes. I want to say that Akif Guluzada is gonna go in there and just do what he does, bro. Like again, like the previous fight we just went through. It's just like Dayakaev. It's gonna be the same thing on paper. It should be the same thing. He's gonna go in there and just take and eat this dude and put on a Jin Kazama kind of performance like he did against
Love it.
Wang Lawang. You know what I mean? Like just mad stuff to watch, bro. But, but what does it look like when these young lads get tested, when they get
Mm.
clipped, and they're looking at stars and they have to fight back? What is it? What happens then? Because we haven't seen what Akif looks like when he's in that kind of situation. You know what I mean? Okay,
mm,
he's got Chingiz Alazov in his corner. So that's like royalty in his corner. But we haven't seen these kids rocked yet. We haven't seen what they look like when they have to fight through adversity. Now, Fragedy, who lost against Jordan Estupinan, who's also on this card, had to go through adversity in that fight. And I like the way he fought. Even though he lost the fight, he showed me a heart. He showed me he's got that dog in him to want to fight back through after being knocked down. We haven't seen it
mm,
with Akif yet. We haven't seen it with any other Estupinan brothers yet. If they get knocked down, what they're going to look like after that. You know what I mean? And Climaco has got that right hand there. He's got that power. He doesn't have to go in there and match this kid with pace for pace and style for style points. He can be a little bit more patient and do what. Remember correctly, Cody Garbrandt when he beat Dominic Cruz to get the title. He can do
mm,
exactly that. He doesn't have to chase you down. He can center of the octagon, point down. We're gonna box right here, my friend. I'm not gonna chase you. We're gonna box each other. And he just needs to land one hard body shot or one hard overhand right and get this boy clipped. And then we see what he does. Let's see what you're made of now. So anyone can
mm,
look stylish. You know what I mean? But can you fight back through a knockdown? Can you fight back through on skates? You know what I mean? What
yeah.
happens then? So I think there is that puncher's chance for Climaco to get that right. And he does look like he's dialed in. I watched the interviews. It does look a bit dialed in. But how do you bet against Guluzada, bro? How do you bet
Uh,
against some talent like that?
yeah. Yeah. Nah, I look for my man Guluzada to get it done with style points here. So keep a lookout for my man Guluzada. Nah, really, folks, tune in early. This is definitely going
Yeah.
to be worth it, this one. I haven't seen too much of Climaco, but like I said, Gulazada is worth the price of admission alone. So be sure
Yeah.
to tune in for that one. BG, any final thoughts on this one before we go to the Estupinian brother?
Um, sure. I don't really have anything else to say. I want to see. I want to see what I hope that Climaco lands something on him and like rocks Guluzada like badly. And then Guluzada
Mm,
actually still comes back and lands us like a jumping knee knockout finish and be like, oh, you know what I mean? Give him Jojo
yeah,
Gonzalez. Give him a next. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It's like to be insane if he gets that right.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm hyped, bro. I'm super hyped. But okay, yeah. Speaking of hype, bro, we're gonna go to another guy who really impressed us on his debut against Freddie Haggerty. That was Jordan Estepinian. Like I said, his debut, so he's 1-0 in the one championship, beating the aforementioned Fred Haggerty by unanimous decision in his last fight. He's coming up against Ali Sadoev, who is 1-1 in the one championship. Last time he lost to the Black Panther by KO. And he beat Zakaria Al-Jamari, who is also nothing to play with in the fight before that. So is it going to be 2-0 for Jordan Estepinian here, or Ali Saldoev gonna, I mean, I don't want to say upset him, but I mean, for me, I
Mm.
was very impressed by Jordan's opinion. So, yeah,
Yeah,
how do
me
you see it
too.
playing out, PG?
I actually think that Jordan's gonna win this fight as well, AD. And just because I liked what Jordan did better than what I think Johan does. And Johan is a little bit too reckless for me, but Jordan seems to have the same attributes as him, but a little bit more controlled in how he uses it, and I like that. It makes him more dangerous. Doesn't stay in there to get hit, whereas Johan stays in there to get hit. Jordan doesn't. He's in and out, and he's a little bit more it's a little bit more dialed in for me. He's like the Matrix. I like to watch that
Mm,
about him, and that to
mm,
me that makes him a bit more dangerous. If you look, Saldo, if you look at his last fight, he got starched. Crazy left high, right high kick, like slipped him from Black Panther. But Black Panther's no joke, right? And I know you mentioned that he beat what's his name, Zakaria Al-Jamari, right? That's the guy you beat
mm,
before that.
yeah.
But I personally don't think that that's like something to go like, oh, but hold on, he beat Zachariah. So everyone beats Zachariah, bro. Like everyone knocks Zachariah out. Zachariah's brother for me is more dangerous than he is. Zachariah, he can be dangerous to fight against, but he's always gonna get hit because he always drops his guard when he defends, when he steps back. So
Mm,
you will see, you can go watch tape now and you will notice that almost every fight that Zachariah Al is in, he's getting dropped. He's getting dropped every time. So I don't know if Ali beating him is that big of a deal, really, if everyone's dropping Zachariah. So I just think that Ali's probably gonna have to go in there and be super aggressive, cut off the corners, make it a phone booth kind of fight. Because if he doesn't do that and he allows the geography of the octagon or the ring to be there, then Jordan's gonna dance circles around him and make him look silly
mm,
and beat him. Probably even probably even dropping him or getting the third round finish. But I think Jordan's can go in there and really like make this man miss a lot and put in a star-studded performance. I expect Jordan to go in there and do exactly that.
Yeah, and that one is, of course, opening the card. So just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, once again, tune in early, tune into the live stream early, and yeah, we'll be very happy to see you there. But yeah, just to your point there, BG, yeah, I think
Mm,
just to Jordan Estupinan's debut, because his brother's kind of so reckless, it was very impressive to see how methodical and how
mm,
cerebral he was, especially against
exactly.
Freddie Haggerty, who does have a bit more one championship experience. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how he does in his second bout. I'm personally gonna go 2-0 for Jordan Estepinian here.
Yeah.
If you have any other thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, or if you agree, let us know in the comments. But
Hmm.
yeah, BG, this is like we mentioned, quite a short fight card, so it's gonna be quite an
8
early
fights.
day at the office for us. But yeah, some really great fights. So as always, bro, I'm gonna go to some final thoughts and then just a
Hmm.
pre-fight rating for the card, please.
Final thoughts for the card. Super excited. I think every single fight on this fight card has got some good implications for it because no one's fighting in catchweight, so everyone's got a chance to make a statement in their division. So that's highly exciting. So I'm gonna give it a solid 9. And it's only 8
Yeesh.
fights. That's the only part that's making me drop the point because it's only 8 fights. I would love to have seen more fights, but that's fine. And just before I conclude myself, I'm going to say also you guys can expect a preview for One Friday Fights 106. The card just got dropped. I just looked at it now. So I will be doing a preview for that on Thursday. Over to you, AD.
And we give thanks, BG. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. Your third reminder that we will be live at about, let's say, 2:30 a.m. South African time
Yeah,
on Saturday morning. So be sure to check us out. But just again, thank you so much for all the love and support. And we look forward to seeing you on the live stream. Again, keep a lookout for
so
BG's preview. UFC. Do we have UFC this week?
we do, yes. We're doing a preview on
We have
Thursday as well.
We got UFC shows coming up. So content, content, content. And we
Yes,
do it all
sir.
for the love of the game, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to seeing you next time on